Hi, everybody. So, welcome back. We are back for
Hey,
Ready to Love. Oh my God, my voice is a little bit cracky, but episode five.
it,
This,
yes, we are here. Yes, indeed. By the way, before we get started, somebody heard that somebody had a sinus infection. They just wanted to come on the panel just for a quick second. JJ, it's your man Maurice. Listen, you're gonna be fine. Now I'm always nasally, So, but I just wanted to throw some support your way. Just love you very much. Love you all, Solana. It's good to hear from you once again. Always that
Damn it, Maurice,
smile.
you're making my infection worse. Listen here,
And and
don't you
and and,
don't
and,
you and
and, and
Sharice have plans?
we do. Rich. What? I'm sorry. What did Braylon say? Rich people say rich by being sleep, and wealthy people say wealthy by being woke. So wealthy auntie is doing fine.
Hey.
I ate dinner and her last night as dessert. It was delicious. Uh,
Listen,
yes, yes.
Maurice, you got to get Braylon back his mic. We
Okay.
can't do this
Love.
with you today.
All right. All right. Love you, Q. Braylon. You know you're the goat. All right. Bye, everybody. Wasn't that nice, Gigi? More reason supporting you on feeling better. Ain't that nice?
The support, I just appreciate it so much. Now back to the lecture at hand.
Yes.
okay, Ready to Love. So, what? We're on episode five.
Yes.
It's me, but I feel like this season is moving way too fast, or maybe because we just moved from January. But I just felt like when I checked the episode, I was like episode five. Wow, that's quite really, really, really fast. So the season is quite fast, anyway. But this episode had me confused from the editing perspective to the cast. I just do not understand why adults are behaving this way. So let's get into it. If you're new, don't forget to subscribe, drop your comment, and let's just jump into the whole thing because we have a lot to talk about, basically.
Yes, we do.
So we're going to start off with the filler part of the episode. That's the first 10 minutes of the episode. We had two dates that, to be honest, I really do not understand why it made it into the show because we could have actually just started from the men's lounge, then go into the. So it's actually painful to talk because of my tongue. Then go straight into the pajama party because I don't understand why they made Vanessa go on a date with Laron, which we obviously know they had no connection. And then we had Dominique going on a date with Alexis. Let's just give our opinion on the both dates. So I'm just going to give a brief um, overview of what happened on these dates because I don't think we should actually spend time per se on either of the dates. So we're going to start off with the Dominic and Alexis part. I took some notes on all of them. So Dominic and Alexis went to a spa. Basically, they had some massages and some stretches done. It was very obvious that Dominic was quite stiff. I don't understand how he moves his waist, but he was really quite stiff. I was like, wow, dude, don't you even like do some stretches or something? He was quite stiff. And then they started talking about relationship. Honestly, this part was quite boring because I understand why we're talking about words of affirmation. But yeah, love language. It was like he doesn't do words of affirmation because he wasn't taught that, but he's the man of action. And Alexis was like, yes, my dad too is the man of action. He doesn't talk too much, but when he talks, everybody basically listens. And then he says, oh, I like the multi multitask and you make people feel comfortable, and that's the spirit of a mother. It's like the only important thing that was said in the entire like conversation. And I was like, why did it make it into the episode? Okay, we know that she has the spirit of a mother. Okay, we know that she's. I just did not understand. What do you guys think?
Mm, I feel like this was kind of like a getting to know you date, but wasn't really anything there, honestly. I do like the fact that I do like the fact that the brother was real about it. You know what I mean? Because here's the thing, right? Even though you're walking to work and getting your car and driving, even though you're exercising your legs, that's everyday. That's everyday wear and tear, right? It's different when you laying down on your back, getting stretched with muscles that you don't normally use, right? So I thought it was a real moment. He wasn't faking nothing. And then with her saying, "Well, I'm very flexible," it's like, okay, all right. I mean, you're in Fort Worth, Texas, where Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders giddy up and ride and jump on it like Genuine said his song. So really, what was the point? You say how flexible you were on the date? Was that for you to feel confident, or for us to know in case the show don't work out? Like I was just curious, But that's what I had to say on the date.
I mean, I feel like the date was basically it was a time filler. It was just like, okay, we're just going to pick people who possibly haven't had enough time to connect or even have a real conversation. Let's just go ahead and give them some time to say that they exhausted all options. They've made their rounds per se. Like it wasn't like I don't feel like it was a date to where they was really trying to see if they had a connection. I don't really think that that was their whole motive. It was just more so just to do something and say that it was done. Like it I don't know, it didn't make sense to me. I felt like I said before, I feel like it could have just been where they just shot the whole scene at the pajama party and, had gave actually more context to that. And I feel like it would have been better because this right here was like, what really was the point of it? What were they talking about that made sense? Like, what conclusion did they come to after being on this date? Because I don't feel like it really benefited either one of them.
Yeah.
I kind of liked it. Believe it or not. The only reason why is because of Alexa. I'm starting to like her. I really like how the show is kind of highlighting her. Just how she moves. I like how she talks to people. I like how she makes people feel comfortable. And even my man, he seems real chill. The conversation might have been not have been that great, but I really feel like it shows like to me these are the two most level-headed people in this process right now. He was very calm when he was talking to her. It seemed like they enjoyed each other. I didn't really see any sparks flying, but it did seem I don't know about a mutual interest, but it did seem like a small interest there. So I mean, I thought it was real. I thought it was okay, but I'm really starting to like Alexa a lot just because how she carries herself, how she talks to people, how she interacts, and
Yeah.
I think she's gonna be in the show for a long time.
Yeah. So now let's move on to the second filler date, which was the date between. I don't really consider this a filler because it sort of gave us some insights basically on what was going to happen in the episode, but it was a filler kind of way. So Lauren and Vanessa is my babe basically. They had a date. They went to exercise on a I don't understand why they did that because both of them don't look fit enough to do those kind of exercises. But yeah, it was
Correct.
fun and oh, why interested. Then they went to sit down. They didn't enjoy the date. It was too obvious. So I don't know whose idea it was for them to have that kind of date because it was quite obvious that they did not enjoy what they did to that moment. So they sit down and he starts talking about the yoga, talking about, oh, I've never really done this before, blah, blah, blah. And they start talking about whatever connection they had, which we know doesn't actually exist. And she says she's still getting the hang of the whole thing that they are doing right now, trying to open up, trying to get to know people. You know, she was just recently married. She married a white man, so she's not really used to so much blackness. And she brings up the fact that he's a party boy and that two of them they don't really mesh because he's a homebody, he doesn't have a kid, his priorities are quite different from her priorities, so she doesn't really see it for them. And then he starts bringing up the fact that she's a problem, that he doesn't want her poisoning the minds of other people, so he's going to just really steer clear away from her. That really felt like I was very confused because she's not the only one calling you a party boy. Majority of the ladies are calling you a party boy. And I think the problem is he wanted to be so relatable. That's why he started talking about, oh, I go on, I go out, I party. Like, I won't tell you party Wednesday to Sunday and I won't look at you sideways. That doesn't seem normal. I understand you telling us that, okay, I work at home and all that. And obviously, when you work at home, I cannot relate, but when you work at home, you want to really get to have the whole, oh, I really know people, I'm coming out. It's not as if you have anxiety. So most people do go out. But having to go clubbing from Wednesday to Sunday to make yourself feel like you are not staying at home just because you work at home is like, hmm, you don't necessarily need to go to the club. You can go out, you can like go on dates. But the fact that you need to go partying Wednesday to Sunday, what do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, LaRon wanted Vanessa, in the words of Beyonce, to go surfboarding and grain on that wood, but that didn't turn out to be the case. Hashtag drunken love. So listen, I really feel, right, that if you give something of yourself to the group, like they say when they arrest you, your Miranda rights, anything that you say can be and will be used against you. Bro, you keep saying that you party Wednesday to Sunday. What do you expect for them to say to that? And this is called being ready to love. Like Solana so articulately stated, you can go on dates. Maybe you might go with Dave and Buster's, on Friday nights, watch the game by yourself, unlimited wings and stuff. I think that's on Thursday. But either way, you do not seem to me, LaRon, or it seems like to anybody at this point, that you don't fulfill your life purposefully. It seems like there are things that you are doing to fill that empty space of loneliness. And if that's the case, then just say that, because we all are lonely at times. But for you to keep being upset over women being upset with you about that you partying through Wednesday to Sunday, you keep saying that. So therefore they call you a party boy. You gave them a guide for them to talk about you. That's it.
He gave him that
Definitely agree with
ammunition.
that.
Totally agree.
Go ahead, Q.
Oh, you go ahead, Gigi. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I agree with that. Like, you can't be mad at someone for basically going off information you gave them about yourself. If this is what you've told them, this is what they know. They don't have any other, they don't know you outside of here. At least I don't think they do. And if you're introducing yourself to someone and you let them know that this is something that you do, why would you not expect for that to stick in their mind and for them to say, okay, well, when it comes to putting um, a background to the person you are, I remember that you like to party Wednesday through Sunday. So how are you going to get mad at me? And then for him to get mad at Vanessa in the way as if she was the one who started it, she's the problem, like he just doesn't understand it. No, you have to understand this is what's circulating throughout the group. This isn't just her. This is everyone because this is what you have shown of yourself and said of yourself. Now you want to make it as, okay, no, that's not all me. This is what it is. You should have led with the 90% of you and let them find out that 10%. Don't lead with 10 and let them have to search for 90. It's harder that way. That's just my opinion.
My thing about LaRon, he just need to live in his truth. You know what I'm saying? You're a single man. If you like to party, you like to party. Cool. Now, it's going to be some women that enjoys that as well. You know what I'm saying? So if you can find somebody that matches your energy and you like to go out and live your life how you want to live it, then that's just what it is. But a lot of women on here, they seem more, a lot of them got kids for the most part. So a lot of them life is totally different. I kind of liked it. Um, if we go deeper and just the understanding of them two together and the dynamics of why it wouldn't work. That's a part of I guess, the theme of the show on who's ready to love with who and who's not ready to love with who. because she's like, I need somebody a little more stable, and he's like, I live my life like this. You know what I'm saying? But if he actually just accepted that, you know what I'm saying? Okay, this is how I live my life. This is how I like to live my life. Even when I get married, I wouldn't mind still doing certain things with my wife and still being out and still this and this. If he just accept that who he is, you know what I'm saying, and walk in that, it'll be a lot more understanding instead of him trying to prove the women who he not, but who he really is.
Yeah, I agree. But let's move on to the main part of the episode because this was just like the filler part and very unnecessary.
Yes,
So this was their pajama party,
let's get to the
and
jam
don't
jam.
understand.
Yes,
I'm so
indeed.
confused. You said it was a pajama party, but you were meeting someone. Were they staying over? I didn't really get the hang of the whole description. Were they just having a party or were they sleeping over? I just did not understand. But I know for one, I'm not going to be wearing pajama walking around in this bright day because they obviously got there in the day.
Right. That confused me too. I'm like,
Why?
if it's a pajama party, sleepover should be at night.
Mm.
I'm so confused. Why are they wearing like beautiful like night wears? Because the girls really came like dressing really nice, like very comfortable but very nice. But it was so clear that it was in the afternoon. Before it even gets to night, you've already like they've been staying under the sun, so obviously you have already like sweat on the clothes, and you have to stay over with the face full of makeup. I just don't understand. Obviously, they'll have their cars with probably their makeup cleaner or something, but it was just so weird to me that they all came so dressed up in the afternoon for a pajama party. But
Okay,
to each,
so go ahead, because I'll listen. There is there's a reason behind it. Okay, so even in the '90s, when you went to a pajama party, and I'm not telling my age, but even in the '90s, early 2000s, when you went to a pajama party, you went to the pajama party looking your best. Okay, you went with your clothes, your pajamas basically match. Like now, see, normally sometimes on a normal day, you might not wear them same fucking pajamas. You might go to bed butt ass naked. Okay.
Well,
But for
that's
a
when
pajama party,
that's
but listen, before a pajama party, especially when it's kind of like a meet and greet pajama
sure.
party, you're wearing something that maybe you might not, whether it's a three piece, a two piece, a robe. You know what I'm saying? You come in with your thighs out, but you're definitely gonna have your makeup on because I mean, a lot of people have seen House Party and the pajama scene, like that's a real thing. You come and you come to have fun, you come to dance, you come to enjoy yourself. It's not like you're coming
but
over,
it was wearing,
this isn't like
but
your girlfriend
it's the
sleepover where y'all having
timing.
pillow fights like that. You know what I'm saying? Like this is more of a
But it's the timing, to be honest, because you're wearing
You
a
don't.
face full of makeup from afternoon to evening. It's like your face will be tired by that.
Yeah,
Maybe it's
it's
just
the
me.
okay,
I've
but
been
see,
wearing
but
it
that's not
for
okay. It might be afternoon, but that more so looks like evening because if you even look at the time lapse, like it gets dark. Even when they're taking the pictures, it becomes really, really dark. So I feel like that's more so evening. And you have to think, just like, okay, so here in California, because that's in Texas, so Texas isn't that far. When
Mhm.
like 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock here, it starts getting dark about 5:30, and that's like 9 o'clock somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? So the time difference it's a little different. So
now
it might seem like it's afternoon, but it's really like, I mean, it
now
is
now.
still kind of early.
Mhm.
But I mean, you got a pregame though. You know what I'm saying? You got a
Yeah,
pregame. You can't just
now
come in.
now Gigi, I love you very much. You know that. Now listen, if you're eating breakfast in the morning, you can eat strawberry or grape jam, but at night that's when you get jammed up and jammed into. Come on now. Let's quit playing games here. Come on now.
Now listen,
Or
okay?
maybe or
Some
maybe you
but we
need
listen.
have to
or
like
maybe you
Some
okay,
need
people
okay, okay. Let's just
listen.
agree to disagree because
or
let's be
maybe or maybe
honest, the
or some.
production was at fault. They all dressed beautifully. I had no problem with how they dressed. I just have a problem with the timing. because it
Or
was so
Mhm.
obvious that the party started in the afternoon.
Man, them
True.
folks too old for
Q,
that
what's your
pajama
take?
party. That's what it is. Them
But
folk is
you
too
know,
old to be having the pajama party. Why
but you
Wait
not?
a
but you
minute, that part.
Lord hell.
Them
But you know
folk too
what though?
old.
But you know what? Then again, Gigi, you are right because it can be daytime because somebody could be eating thick pancakes or waffles in the morning as well. So listen, you can get jammed in the morning and jammed at night. But either way, if it's a nighttime party, it should be a nighttime party. I'm not saying things don't get jammed and people don't eat jam, but we gotta be consistent about the jam. That's all I'm saying.
Listen, even though you said, listen, Q, I understand what you're saying, Braylon and Q, even though you said they too old for that party, sometimes you got to go back to your youth. Sometimes that's when you was your most comfortable and your most secure, is when you was a little bit, younger. So sometimes you got to take
Well,
it back.
they shouldn't have been so comfortable because it didn't end up well.
It
None of
didn't. It didn't.
But usually they will have something like this towards the end of the show whenever they're out on their, Tommy take them on like a 3-day vacation or something. You'll see something like this. They'll have a
But I'm
Mhm.
pajama
actually
party.
happy that all this is happening now. Just look at how they are behaving. It's better than it's happening now. Not when you are totally logged in with some dudes, then you go to a party and it's acting like crazy. So it's better this happens now. Yeah, it's I think it should have just said it was a regular party, but dressing like everybody should just dress like in their sleepwear. But to say pajama party starting in the afternoon was just bullshit to me. But yeah, we've chastised them enough. Let's go into the whole
We
thing.
chastise.
Chastise them enough.
So we're going to do it this way because we have two ladies at the bottom today with nobody being evicted. So there's no spoiler or anything. The two ladies that were at the bottom were Mika and Koshia, obviously. So we're going to start from Mika and then move to Koshia's issue. And in between Mika and Koshia, we're going to talk about Alexis and Jonathan and Willie Williams or William, whatever they call. So we're going to start off with Mika. So Mika comes in and she has two conversations that were really shown. She had one with Dominic and then she had another one with Williams. So the conversation with Dominic, she has a connection with Dominic, but then she starts asking him about children if he wants kids. She has always made him known that she doesn't want kids, that even if she likes a dude, she's not willing to have kids regardless. So he wants kids and he's like, wow, he likes her, but he does not know what kind of life they are on right now. I think immediately he said she doesn't want to have kids. Even if he had liked her sexually, he was no longer like interested. She's such a pretty lady, but it's just the same way. I don't know what was it Miami first season Miami. There was a dude that came on. People really bashed this dude. So I think people are keeping the same energy with Mika for this season. People bashed him because you're coming on this show. We have all said that yes, they need to go older, but now we know that the age limit is within 33 to early 40s. So we know that they are still within childbearing ages, and we know that most of them will still want kids. So for you to have given birth and no longer want to have kids, it's going to be quite rude to come to this kind of show and want to meet someone that most likely does not want to have kids. The probability is like 0 point something percent. It's always very, very low. I think out of all the guys she spoke to, only one dude was not really bothered about having kids, and that was the new guy. And I think he was most likely even saying that to just have one connection or something because I'm a new guy. Obviously, everybody had like a head start, so I would not want to look good. Now, the second conversation she had again was with what's his name, Williams. Now, in this one, they just totally told each other that, oh, we like each other, we're good, but we see we don't have any connection. We're more like friends, and I think this is where the whole thing. And I think this is the moment where people, the whole we get the friendship vibes from you started coming up. Then she fortunately had a conversation with the new guy. What's his name again? I keep forgetting that his name.
Who,
Can't
William?
remember me. Can't find. What?
Who, his name?
Yeah,
I
the
think it,
new dude who
William.
just
oh no,
Will,
just
that's Will.
no,
Oh, the new
this
guy is
one.
Justin.
Yeah,
Oh,
new guy.
LaRon.
No, no, this
That's
dude.
Justin.
that's Justin.
Justin, yes. So she had a conversation with Justin, and for me, I felt like they should have shown this conversation first before the other two because it made her look better. In the other two, it made her look bad, basically. Like one friend zoned you, the other just like was totally tuned off. The conversation with Justin, he was really open to get to know her. For me, I didn't feel like he was open to get to know her, but he was at least really nice in the conversation. And it was like he doesn't mind dating a woman with kids. That apart from his last relationship, his previous relationships, all the women had kids, and that if he doesn't have a child of his own, he's fine by that. And she was actually very happy with that because she has been looking for that kind of man for like forever. Miss girl, what did you think was going to happen?
Like, I just, okay, so, I mean, I don't feel like, like, when it comes to Mika, I don't feel like it's wrong that she doesn't want to have any more kids. That's just her. That doesn't mean that she's not ready for love or she's not ready for this process. But I do feel like, just like with other people that's on the cast, I don't feel like her person is here. The person she's looking for, like, this isn't the process for her. Doesn't mean she's not ready for love or she's not ready to, you know what I'm saying, have her person. But I just don't feel like this is where she's going to find it. Yeah, Justin was a better look for her, and it would have been better because one, he's already had this conversation with, what was her name? The other one, I forget her name. Patrice, I think it is. No, Patrice is the one with the braids. But the other girl, he had conversations before, previously, explaining the fact of him being okay with not having kids, him coming to that conclusion. So I do feel like it would have been best if they would have had that conversation first, showed that first, let us see, that side of her so that it shows that she is still, like, there is somebody who is, I guess, kind of on her level, or you know what I'm saying, like somebody that she can vibe with, instead of it making like she just has no connections, and then here comes this guy who is possible, but it still is like, you know what I'm saying,
I
like
said
it.
Rashina.
Rashina, okay, thank you. But like we see it with Justin where he is accepting of where he's at, and I feel like that's something that Mika does need. um but honestly, I haven't seen her have a connection with Dominic or
She had a connection
William
with
at
Dominic,
all.
to be honest. Now she had like from the first day they clicked actually with Dominic, because I can remember them having a conversation on the bridge. They had like several conversations, and it was quite obvious that they really liked each other. Not like, but like they were really like getting to know each other. But I think she should have said something about the kids thing because he's just finding out now on probably because we obviously know that this is not week five. It's like week two, week three in their real original timeline, and that's like way too far. And it was totally tuned off. Nobody really vouched for her apart from Justin, and it was just really sad. It was an entirely bad look for her in the episode. I have no problem with you not wanting kids. I've already told you guys that I'm not really like into the whole having kids thing too. So I will always like support women that do not want to have kids because there's no use being forced to have a child, because now after being forced to have the child, you have to then muster some sort of emotional attachment towards these children. It's not really easy for people. People expect women to just be like natural nurturers, like, oh, just have kids, then the nurturing vibe will just develop from somewhere. Some women are not. That's why we see some people who end up abusing their kids. I'm not saying that she's abusing her kids because she has two wonderful children, and it's just she doesn't want to have any more kids. She's not interested. And I just realized that this is happening more and more. We're seeing more cast members not wanting to have kids. So I think they should actually start casting broadly instead of casting people that are all in, oh, I want to have kids, I want to have kids, I want to have kids, I want to have kids. It's just,
I mean, that's the blow part about it. When you sit there and look at the men and women ratio, and most of the men on the show don't have kids, while the majority of the women on the show have kids. You know what I'm saying? So that can be a deal breaker for a lot, but I just don't like the fact that even her, she's like she will have a child with the right person. You know what I mean? But I don't think that she really wants just to have them aimlessly anymore. You know what I'm saying? I feel like if she leads with that, like, shoot, I'm willing to have a child with the right person, but it has to be the right person. I feel like she's open to it. You know what I'm saying? But at the exact same time, I feel like she need to lead with that instead of more so saying, I don't want them. When you got a bunch of single men who don't have kids and they want them. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I really just kind of alleviate herself out the process just by saying she don't want it, but she's still open if it's the right person.
Right. And I
I,
fully agree.
I don't agree. I don't think she wants kids. I'm sorry. Like, sorry. Let me cut you before Braden goes on. I don't agree.
Sure.
I tell you guys every time that I'm not really like into the having kids thing, and I always leave with that. Most times, people then turn into because they want to have like a softer language, they're like, oh, I want to have kids with the right person. I have two kids. She's she's only saying that because, oh, someone then decides to have a chat with her, or someone then decides to pursue her, then she will have to change the tactics so the person will not bring up the having kids again. Let's be frank, the fact that every time she kept saying, oh, maybe I'll have kids for the right man, I don't want anybody to pressure me, she goes back again to say, I don't want to have kids. Subconsciously, as much as she keeps saying, oh, I want to have kids for the right person, the vibes that Mika is giving is, I do not want to have kids at all.
So Lana, what she really saying is she don't want to be another baby mama. That's what she's saying.
She was
You know
never
what I'm saying?
a baby mama. I don't think she was a baby mama.
She said she had a child at night eight. She had a child at 18. Like the two ages of her kids are like really separated apart. So she knows that
She
journey
was
way too long.
she was married, right?
No,
Or
she
was she
wasn't
not?
married.
Not
Oh,
that not that I can
I'm
remember.
mixing her with Patrice. Oh,
Oh yeah, yeah. Old girl wasn't never married. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So her whole view of having kids is totally different. If she would have stability like she wanted it and to bring a child in the world how she really wanted to, she's open to it. But she's like, nah, I'm not about to keep having kids and not secure in my relationship and just having to raise this child by myself. That's what she's saying. But she's open for it if it's the right situation. You know what I mean? But it had to be the perfect situation for her. But if not, she's just tired of being a baby mama.
Correct. And this is what I will say, right? I mean, didn't we ask like for Ray to love make a move to end as quickly as we could because nobody was being responsible with having standards or requirements? I mean, if we remember Ashley taking anyone and everyone just to have somebody, I get your point, Solana. I really do. That she does not want any more kids. But I also think, too, I think that that is probably a protective wall that she doesn't want to go through any more trauma that she doesn't have to. You know what I mean? That's just like how some men may not want to date a woman with kids. But if it's the right one, then I would be open to it. You know what I mean? So, and not to mention, too, we went from somebody who was all lovey-dovey and wanted to be auntie with nephew last season and catching fish to now a woman having standards and requirements of protecting her mental health. Like, really? Can we be grateful that some woman is taking responsibility here? Like, just say it.
Yeah, definitely agree. And I do feel like, honestly, I agree with what you're saying, Q, because listen, I'm a mother, I have kids, I'm a single mom. So I understand the fact of like, listen, you know what I'm saying? Well, was single, but I'm married now. But still having my kids early, I had my kid like I was a teen mom. So I understand where Mika comes from with like, listen, having kids young and, you know, not not having the stability, you get to a point where you're like, no, I will never do this again because one, you want more for yourself and your children. You don't want your children to have to grow up and suffer. So there's some things that you will start to say that you are not going to allow yourself to do or be involved in because you have to look out for them and their best interest. Now, when it does come time to finding someone that you really love, that love will change everything. Right now, you can be so against having kids and not wanting this and not wanting that, but you find somebody that really kind of like just fills your heart with joy, it will change your whole outlook on life. Like everything,
Hmm.
I'm telling you, water will taste different, the air smells different. Like the way you move is different just because
Yes,
it's a
sir.
love that
Water
just is
tastes
so
different.
unconditional and it'll just take over you to where now you want more things than what you've ever thought of. Your heart desires things, and sometimes it comes with a family. So I mean, I really feel
Well,
like if she finds someone that actually, you know what I'm saying, that she can vibe with and that she loves, then of course I feel like she will definitely be accepting of having more kids.
we will agree to disagree. Let's move.
See, Solana, you looking at it from a Solana, you looking at it from a point of view of never having kids. So you in your mind, you never wanted them. Versus somebody who's already established with kids, and they're like,
That part.
you
That
know what I
part
mean? You
too.
looking at it from totally two different views. You know what I'm saying? You're like,
Yeah.
no, it'll never happen. Shorty was like, she had them. You know what I'm saying? So she in a perfect world, if you wanted kids, you like, okay, I want to bring them up a certain way. Now to have a child and to bring them in the world how you want to, you know what I'm saying, is one thing. But to have a child and not bring them into the world is another thing. So she's like, if I could bring a child in the world how I prefer, it's different. Salon, you like, I don't want them at all. That's two different mindsets.
You know what? I
I,
think that's
I,
a good
no, no,
distinction with a
in
difference
my mind,
because
I agree with you, but my point is, I still feel like she doesn't want to have more kids. But my own preference is that I've always said, I don't have a problem with kids. I just do not, I would have to, I don't appreciate the whole process involved. The pregnancy, the everything. Yeah, I see women saying, "Oh, I want to get pregnant. I love the whole vibe. I love everything." And I'm like, wow, I can't relate. I don't feel the joy, I don't know. I don't feel the vibes,
and that
basically,
and
of
and
wanting to
that's
get pregnant. That's
and that's totally okay. I mean, we also got to think about postpartum depression as well. We don't know if she has that, nor is that our business. But there, most some moms who have never, like you said, Salana, you never wanted kids. When they finally get their kids, their whole life changes. Of like, I didn't want my kids, but now that I have them, I've actually grown up a little bit. Not saying that you have not grown up because you're a full grown woman, but there's a lot of people that will say things that they will never do. My mom has always said, "Don't say what you won't do," because circumstances can change. But it's a good combo.
good time.
Yeah,
Let's move
definitely.
on
That's
to
definitely what it is. I think. Like, don't. I mean, we can all say what we don't want and what we won't want until it kind of happens, because some things are unexpected, and when it
Mhm.
happens, you're just
I
like,
don't say I don't want kids. I don't mind someone giving birth to the kids than me taking it. I don't mind adopting or anything. But the whole process of being pregnant, giving birth, all those things, I just do not find the appeal.
Understood.
That's just me. Then let's go on to Will. So Will is having a question and answer session with all the women. He's mad that someone said he sleeps on the floor. I'm like, guy, why are you acting this crazy? Like the way he was going from woman to woman, questioning them because you were. If Alexis, because she knows that you are our strongest connection, did not tell you what was said in the lounge, you would not even go around asking people. I felt like it was so ridiculous because the way he was asking everybody was being all rude. I have some oops, yes. I'm like, dude, come on. Could have just asked, oh, why did someone say this? Because I would really like to clarify. Okay, if he really wanted to ask. The way he went around questioning every lady, and then when he eventually found out that it was Patrice, he was like giving some sort of attitude. I'm not also excusing Patrice because Patrice, I was actually disappointed. You found out that okay, you misconstrued what he said. I think a little sorry, I didn't mean it. Sorry, I misheard. Sorry, I misrepresented what you said to others. But I really wanted to warn them because I didn't want anybody to end up with a bomb. That would have just ended the whole situation. But then you were like, okay, I hope you never end up sleeping on the floor. But when this dude was like, yeah,
You know what this
because
reminded
I
me of?
because
Mhm.
I watched this twice, so
Right.
I've already seen the ending when Koshia was saying he had fake jewelry. So as I watched it again and he shouted, "I'm a millionaire," I just remember that pattern.
You know what this
Then
reminded you know what this reminded me of? The whole thing with a thought job and how this was dragged out all season long about Red and and the other young lady of this thought job thing. Now,
unique.
unique, thank you. And unique, right? So that's why I feel like this storyline is kind of reminded me of a little bit. Now, I don't think Will is that smart because the women feel that towards the end of the episode. But here's where Will fucked up. Okay. Who is in charge this week, y'all, of
The men.
elimination?
The
The men.
men.
Who is in charge of elimination next week?
The women.
That part. I understand that you want to clear your name, right? But you also have to recognize of there's levels of your dignity and respect. All she said was sleeping on the floor. She didn't say your credit score was jacked up. She didn't say you didn't take any responsibility. She didn't say that you are disrespectful. She said sleeping on the floor. Now that should have been a clarification and a forgiving conversation happening. But what can happen is when the women go up, and Lord Jesus, if Koshia is there, then guess who they're going to eliminate? Will, you dumb uck. Damn. Know how I played the game.
Listen, when it comes to that whole thing, I feel like one, the way he went around just steady asking, you know what I'm saying, who said it. First off, sir, you should know who said it. Because if you said these words or you even made a comment about you grabbing your blankets and sleeping on the floor, whether it be like, hey, because I know some guys, listen, this is crazy, but I know guys who like to sleep on the floor. Like they will have a whole bed, whole house, everything, but for some reason, a floor is comfortable. There's some women who are like that too, and that's just how it is. So if that was the way that you were trying to say it, like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's just something a person might like to know about you is, hey, even though I have a bed, I like to sleep on the floor sometimes because it helps my back, yada, yada. Then that's fine. But don't sit there and drag that shit out. And honestly, to me, what that reminds me of is that reminds me of a party Wednesday through Sunday. He reminds me of LaRon. Like, this is damn near the same thing. Like, if you told her this, then you said it. Why are you? I mean, I understand you want to get clarification and you want it to be where, okay, that's not what I meant. Go ahead and explain that that's not what it was, but don't sit there and take it to the point to where you're going around basically acting like a child, wondering who said what, and now Now you want to act out like that, and to throw out that you're a millionaire, honey. Please, if we had the little jury tester, I don't know if you passed. I don't know if it passed. Like, yeah, that's my. I don't know.
one thing they said about a hit dog, he gonna do what? Holler.
Holla.
Holla.
A hit dog gonna holler. You know what I'm saying? And my thing is, why are you sitting there trying to explain yourself to people and trying to figure this whole situation out? You know what I mean? You should just left it at what it is and move right along. You know what I'm saying? That's what you should have did. But you kind of look, I didn't like the way he, went around searching for an answer, questioning people about who said what. Because what that really did was, when Alexa came back and brought you back that information, that was between you and her. You know what I'm saying? She dropped that information off to you to really help you out through the process. You know what I mean? So if you ever ran across that situation again, you could be like, nah, things got misquoted. Not for you to sit there and go dig up a dead body. You know what I mean? That
Exactly.
situation was dead. You know what I mean? That would you sleeping on the floor, even if that question your stability, you know what I'm saying? You got a long enough time in this process to fix that situation. And if your strongest connection is with Alexis and she not tripping about it, why are you tripping about it? So you worry about your image now. And then for you to go out and say, well, I make $1 million and I'm a millionaire and I do this and this. If that's the case, you secure in who you are. Financially you stable. Why in the world you got to prove that to anybody else?
No, I totally agree. Unprovoked, Auntie, you are absolutely right in what you're saying. With Patrice, I think it should have been both. Both people should have apologized. But you know what? I have a really good theory. I think radio love and parties just don't mix well. Because wasn't there a party where somebody was a little bit upset about a particular word that was said at an elimination ceremony? And then at this party, someone was a bit upset because someone said that they were sleeping on the floor and they drug it out. Someone was being very combative. Very combative. Hashtag combat coffee, everybody. Okay? Okay. Just just saying. There's parallels here. Follow me. There's parallels.
It's actually like pretty crazy because they already see him as childish, noise, like a noisemaker. And you know what's funny? I thought Alonso would be appearing at the bottom every week. I am so shocked that he has legit moved to my top because he knows what he wants and he's not being a nuisance. But Will, come on. If you had come to me asking me who said this, I would just look at you like, are you crazy? Someone volunteered information to you because you are close to the person. Now, you going to spread that someone volunteered information, you are actually putting a target on that person's back because now everybody knows who is actually close to you, Alexis. And then now you come out and say, oh, I heard this, I heard that. Obviously, I'll be like, Alexis, why are you saying something that was said on the lounge to him? It's crazy. But let's go on. Yeah, Patrice will be coming for Alexis next week, and it's all we all have to blame. What's his name? Will for that because if he never said that, nobody would have known.
Yeah.
So we have Laron and Koshia. This was actually the main
But
part of the episode.
But Solana, she had to say that because that was a part of the deliberation that made him seem so insecure. I was thinking about that, like, why in the world did she say that? You know what I'm saying? But they said that in the lady lounge, that was the reason, one of the reasons why people was questioning his stability was because of that. She never said any names either. She never said it was this person that said it. She said the ladies said da 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 da. You know what I'm saying? She never said Patricia said it. You know what I'm saying? So that
That
was a part of the deliberation process. It wasn't like, you know what I'm saying? It was something that was said behind, like, that we don't want him to know. They were saying that the reason why you're up for elimination is because of this.
But on the flip side, let's look at this. Okay, it was an information that she needed to volunteer to him, fine. But if you really wanted to know who said it, and you were
Mm.
so bothered about it, why didn't you just ask Alexis? Because now you went around asking every single woman. See, no matter
You're
how we
right,
try to
100%
say
right.
human beings
Yep.
are very, very
Agreed.
logical, at
Mm.
some point I'll be like, what else did she say to this dude for him to be so pressed about this? It's just like the way he presented it, he made it a mountain out of a molehill. You could have actually gone to ask her or think. I mean, first thing you're supposed to do is sit down and think, who did I have a conversation with that I spoke about my living situation? But no, he did not do that. He went let it almost all the women. I think he went to everybody and he just edited it because he said I've asked everybody. The only person that gave me a reaction was
Oh.
Patrice.
Hey, Solana, you know why? I bet he asked her and she didn't tell him. Cause during that time when she got into it with
Koshia.
Cole, with Koshia, you know what I'm saying? And Koshia was sitting there saying that um Alexa was going back telling Will, different stuff that they discussed. So I'm pretty sure Alexis didn't say that because of that conversation with Koshia. Because the way Will acting, Will would have came back and said, Alexis said that you said that this was the case. That's the type of vibe he gave me. But I feel like she didn't say nothing because of that conversation they had in the ladies' lounge with Koshia. But I'm pretty sure he
Yeah,
asked her too.
because let's be frank, just look at the way Patrice acted here, and look at the way she acted in the preview of the next episode. Patrice is my girl, but she seems very defensive, and she gives this passive aggressive kind of like, oh my god, okay, I did it, but why are you coming at me for what I said and all that? Because she could have apologized. As much as I feel like Will acted a fool and put a target on Alexis back, everybody would want to clarify or clear their name because you majorly made me seem like I am squatting in someone's house. And if you can remember, Q, was it not in Miami season that what's her name? Sabrina had an issue with one of the guys because he was squatting. Most people would not want to date someone that is squatting with someone sleeping on the floor. That's just the kind of idea. Like people can really conjure up things in their mind. So you don't know what like all the ladies were thinking about him as they said that who he was sleeping on the floor and all those kind of things. But I think he should have sat down and thought about the women he has had conversations with. Those should have been the women he should have gone to first than asking everybody. It just doesn't, it just showed that he's not capable of thinking correctly.
You're 100% right. Why question everybody? We only had a conversation with one or two people. I totally
No,
agree.
absolutely. And my
Right.
and my
That's what I was saying. Like he only had a conversation. Like you should know who you had a conversation with. So instead of going around asking everybody what they said, go back and your own mind of who you talked to. If you even made a comment, like I said, whether it was just you saying, "Hey, I sleep on the floor because it's more comfortable." Yes, I have a house. Yes, I have a bed, but to me, it's more comfortable. Think about if you had that conversation at all, and it would have took you right there. And I agree with you, Q. He probably did ask Alexis, and she was like, "No," because after what happened with Koshia, she's not about to put herself, down there
on
again
the
to,
hot seat,
let
yeah.
me know, like, "Hey, I'm still talking to you," and letting you know basically what's going on.
You
So
know,
I feel like that was his way of, okay, well, since you won't tell me, I'm gonna find out myself.
right, absolutely. And the thing is too, it's like y'all are able to communicate outside the show. So once you have receipts of who you talk to, and really like own, here's another idea. You're probably not going to do it, but there is this thing called Discovery Plus, right? How about now? It's only going to be on the streaming service. Putting some of the gentlemen lounges and ladies lounges of the past seasons as content, because that would fill in some of the gaps. But then again, would they still have a show if we saw everything in the lounge on Discovery Plus?
I mean, they would because some contexts are always like missing, and it would really. I mean, last season, we found out that they were saying more things, and they cut out a lot of juicy stuff. Honestly, they cut out a lot of juicy stuff. But yeah, let's just move on. Will do what Will wants to do. We just So now, Laron, we're moving to Laron and Koshia, the main topic of the episode. Koshia started talking to Justin, basically talking to other guys in the show while Laron was sitting in anger. Then he decides to confront her about the whole thing. Um, I took notes. He said he tried to text her, she was being mysterious, and he came here and she shut him off. And then she agreed, saying that yes, she normally would not treat him this way, but she knows what she's doing and she's doing it basically on purpose. Then he was like, um, if he wants to know where her head is at, because even if it's elimination time, he will still defend her, he will still support her, and will never talk down on her because he knows where they are. What's funny is that at this point, they also move to the confessionals, and it's like saying the opposite of what he's saying to her face. He's starting to say, oh, I do not trust her. I do not know where her head is at. I do not know if Koshia actually likes me. So I'm actually confused by this moment. Then she wanted to hold his hands, and he's like, no, don't touch me. Don't hold my hands. I don't want you to touch me. And she's like, oh, she wanted him to enjoy the process and to get to know other people, because if you say we're loved in, if you say that we're together, then we might as well leave the process, which I do agree with her. Then Mia comes in and they were having a serious conversation. He stands up. No, Mia is like, oh, I owe you something because she called me greedy. He stands up from the serious conversation, goes to Mia and starts playing with Mia. You could see the veins popping up at this moment on Hoshia's head, because she's like, what? We're having a conversation and you are legit talking to Mia, trying to get to know, trying to like play with her. Meanwhile, we're having something really serious over here. And when he comes back, he didn't even apologize, he didn't say anything, and she starts getting mad, saying, I don't like the way you're talking to me. You're talking at me and you're trying to chastise me. I'm not going to allow you to chastise me. And then she starts bawling and crying. At this point, Chance and Vanessa were there, and he stands Lauren stands up from the seat, tries to walk away, and Charles is like, why are you walking away? You're trying to cut off the conversation. You can see that she's really annoyed at this moment. And it's like, she's going to come and talk to me when she's ready. I'm going to be honest. It was very obvious that a lot of editing were done because a lot of missing contexts. Because I didn't understand how she went from mad to why you chastise me. I'm not going to allow you to talk at me. I'm not going to allow you. I was taken aback. I'm like, okay, why are we going? Why is she crying? I was very lost about what happened there. So editing played a very strong part in us missing context. But again, on the other side, when we flip it, Koshia has shown very unstable behaviors, and she tends to gaslight people every time. Every time she has something with someone or has an issue with someone, she goes with the why are you talking at me kind of vibe. And I don't understand why she always like does that. Almost like it's crazy. Yeah, she was jealous and she was trying to punish him, because I don't understand why I will like you and then I will intentionally try to punish you by not talking to you. Um, Indirectly punishing myself because I like you. So why should I not talk to you? I don't understand how adults play this kind of mind games. I mean, you like each other, you claim you like each other, and you're punishing him because he's entertaining other people, and then you start entertaining other people that you're not even interested with, wasting your own time. Instead of you asking him where his head is at, and if he feels like he doesn't want to have anything to do with you, walk away. And if some people have a simple conversation, it ends in tears, just have to talk to him for him to calm down. And even while calming down, he kept saying, I don't know if she likes me. I don't know if she wants me. I don't know if she does. Okay, what's going on?
I mean, that whole situation was crazy. Because first off, you're at a social event. You know what I mean? And everybody's dating everybody. You know what I mean? But for LaRon to feel the way LaRon felt, him and Koshia had to really been talking as to the fact of let's really see what's going on between us. For him to feel that kind of way that he felt. Of course, liquor was involved too. And you already know when liquor and feelings, getting together, you're gonna have an explosion. So Koshia was telling LaRon something, to make him feel the way he felt. You know what I'm saying? Then on the back end of it, for him to kind of go and kiss Maya and hug up on other women to make her jealous. I'm like, brother, come. I kind of see where you know what I mean. You at in your dating life, but for Koshia to do what she did, you know what I'm saying. As to the fact of being in different people's faces, and then the contact that they were having, like the exchange that they were having, he like, dang, Koshia really ain't talking to me like that no more. She not really, what I mean, giving me the interaction. So I think Koshia had done moved on, but she still want to give him a little bit of energy throughout the process of dating everybody as well. LaRon's still kind of confused in the process. I don't know if he have a number two option.
This is very, by the way, very well articulated. As always, cute. This has reminded me of a love triangle between Auntie, who loves catfish, the trainer that could help Auntie lose some weight off that catfish, and
Ah,
the trainer. You understand where I'm going here?
yeah.
Follow Braylon, follow Braylon, follow Braylon. So when it came to this, right, this situation of LaRon and Koshia, I'm just going to say this. I don't care how it comes out. A prince and princess does things in front of company. A king and queen does things away from company. I'm going to say that one more time for the one more time. A prince and princess does things in front of company. A king and queen does things away from company. If that was a real conversation y'all needed to have, then you should have been king enough to take that queen and move somewhere so y'all can have the space to have that conversation. And then on top of that, you say, well, girl, you got a fatty. Oh, okay. So you've been looking at some other pancakes, huh? Okay. All right. I mean, this is a pajama party with breakfast in the morning, I guess. But here's the thing. He needs to take responsibility for what he did in terms of messing with somebody in front of Koshia. And Koshia also needs to recognize that, listen, if you really do like me, then I'm not saying you got to show me that you like me every time, but just touch base with me. Because if we remember, Auntie, who was in Catfish, the trainer that could help her lose weight off the catfish, and the trainer in that love triangle during that weekend, hey, if you really want me, come find me. And what did Quinn do? He didn't do shit. I'm not saying last season is a repeat on this season, but damn, if I ain't connecting the dots, y'all don't know how, y'all don't know how to use a coloring book and connect the
Yeah.
dots.
Yeah, well, listen, Braylon, I'm gonna agree with you and I'm gonna disagree. I
Okay,
love
go
you,
ahead.
but listen, because see, listen, if especially in this process, if you fucking with me, you better let me know you fucking with me, and you can do that in different ways. It can be between our conversation. Now, mainly, see, I'm an action person. I always loved show and tell. The showing part was my favorite.
I bet it was.
I can
Go
tell you
ahead.
anything, but if you want me, I'm gonna show you better than I can tell you. Okay. So I feel like actions definitely need to be shown. So if you're rocking with me and this is a process of ready to love, and if I'm claiming you as my top person, okay, yeah, it's a process and there are other people. I'm gonna mingle, you're gonna mingle. But I'm going to keep our connection stronger than the rest of them just because I want to see where we're growing, especially just like you said, Q, the way that it seemed with LaRon and Coach She is that there's a connection. He's not going to act like that if there was no connection. And he said that they talk all the time outside of the show. They have deep conversations. They have long conversations. So there's definitely a connection between the two. So don't give me that connection. Say that that's where we are and that's what we're building, and then you just completely shift without a warning because now that's kind of showing your character. And I talked about this before we even went live. because she's a gaslighter. I noticed it when she was talking to Alonzo, and I even noticed it even more now. I know, Ucha, you say that it's editing, but I also feel like that's her too. That's her personality. That's just who she is. She's the type of person that if she doesn't get her way or things, aren't going in the direction she's wanting, she's gonna throw, you know what I'm saying? She's gonna throw that victim card out there. She's gonna play that role. She knows how to cry on cue, and she knows how to make you feel bad. And I feel like that's gonna be her downfall. But don't play that game as, oh, we're supposed to be connected, making this connection, we're building something, and then, you know, when the time comes for us to be face to face and actually continue to build on that connection, you just completely, do your own thing and start acting like I don't exist. No, that's a problem. I'm gonna cut you off. Honestly, LeBron he's a good one, because for him to say, even if they're not connected, he's still gonna hold her down and listen.
Laron is a good one.
No, no, no,
I'm
no.
sorry.
No, 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 no. I'm saying he's a good one for saying that even if she doesn't like him and they're not connected, he's still going to hold her down and not vote her out. He's a good one for that, because I'm not going to do it.
That's that liquor
I'm not
talking.
saying he's a good one. No, I'm not
that
saying he's a good one like that. I'm just saying no for that. Mm-mm.
that was that liquor talking right then. That had to be that liquor
It
talking.
had to be. Had to be.
Because he definitely was not holding her down. He had so much to say about her, and they were all negative. I don't think he really
Yeah.
liked her. I think the problem with Aaron was that he wanted a safety net to stay on the show, and Koshia and he were like the perfect one for him. That was why he was always still entertaining other people. But unfortunately for him, people already see him as a playboy, so they are not really bothered about what he's doing. So it's like woo, Lara sounding to Koshia like a child, and she was responding like she had the mental capacity of one. I think it was deep. I don't know, maybe I'm so pessimistic. I'm so pessimistic, but I don't think for one that their connection was real. I don't care how anybody wants to say it. I don't think so.
Like,
I think it
honestly,
was
I feel
surface
like
level.
there's a lot of balls that have been dropped in this season, just with like just the I, I mean, everybody should have the opportunity at love and finding love, but I mean, I just feel like some of these people definitely, this isn't the time or the moment. Like, I don't know. And then, like you said, kid, you mix that liquor with it, it all comes out. Like, you start seeing like the true nature of people.
I saw through his true self like a long time ago. There's just something, like I've said, there's something about him and Dominic. I cannot put my hands on it currently. It's the same vibes as the guy from last season that was playing both Lee and Janelle. There's just something about them that I'm like, hi, Avril.
You talking about Marzel?
No, not myself. Like the real ready to love, not the make a move.
Oh, okay.
The guy with Janelle and Lee, uh,
Quentin.
Quentin.
That was the
He gives
example I
me
was
the
giving.
same.
Yeah.
Yeah, that definitely. There's definitely a. You can see the connection. You definitely can see the connection.
My bad. Okay, back rolling. Okay, back.
Can't hear
So I
you.
don't
Oops.
really.
Okay.
Yeah, can't
Can you
hear
hear me
you.
now? Can you hear me? How
Now,
can you hear me?
yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I guess my audio went out. But there's just something. That's why I'm not buying what Dominic is selling. But good luck to him. I'm just not buying it. Not buying it. Laron just unraveled way faster than Dominic. But there's something about Dominic. I just pray I'm wrong. So now, before we go into the final part, which is the truth or dare game, let's talk a little bit about Jonathan and Alexis because we're going to talk about what happened during the truth or dare game between them after this. So Jonathan comes and has like a conversation with Alexis, talking about how he really likes her and all that. And I'm like, wow, can't you see that she doesn't like you? I don't know how people can read body language, but it was so obvious that she's just like, wow, you're such a gentleman. Jonathan has a facade that he's presenting. I understand that the first date you guys meet, or the first date you guys like, you see somebody, you want to have like a representative meet the person just in case. But where's the real you, Jonathan? You claim you're a freak, you claim you're a this, but you talk so reserved. And I get it that people say, oh, reserved men are the freak and all those kind of things. But he's giving me the vibes that he's using a fake reserved image, but that's just not him. I just don't know. It's like there's just something about Jonathan that I can't. It's just fake. But let's go on
Mm.
to the truth or dare. You, oh, I forgot that Q does your man. I'm sorry, but let's.
Hey, one thing
Okay.
about it, one thing about it is, Alana, every day you got a choice and you can make a decision. I think he might not be my guy no more. I was kind of very disappointed how he conducted himself. I really thought he had a little bit more to him than that. I'm not fully, turning my back on it, but I was kind of disappointed in the way he carried himself on that part of the show, especially with Alexa during that conversation and also during the game. You know what I mean? I'm like, come on, Jonathan. I thought it was way more to you. And to tell you the truth, I really thought he would have had a better connection with Maya than anything.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that Jonathan is one of those people that he uses his personality as his black Amex card. And so he figures out what you can afford mentally to take on. And then he just swipes your mental card machine. And then he gets what he wants. But the problem with that is eventually you're not going to have a balance to pay for the emotionality. And to that African Girl podcast, I said to the panel, Ray to love and games and parties don't mix well. Did we not learn from last season being combative? Good damn. Let's roll on to the game.
So
Yeah, I
the truth
definitely
or
think
dare game.
Jonathan is like definitely going up, like he's doing too much. Like for him to be like have this kind of reserved, like you know what I'm saying, reserved feeling to
Like
himself
your
or vibe to
partner
him.
should be in the bed. Like I'm
Like it's like,
confused.
yeah, if you're gonna do all that, like at least actually make sure there is a connection there because there is no connection. Like Alexis definitely was not feeling him. You could tell. Like her body language, her conversation, like I feel like she just has a great open personality where it makes people comfortable. So maybe he got lost in that comfortability, but she was not feeling him. There was not a connection to where she's like, I'm attracted. And then for him to like pull her onto him the way he did, like I feel like that was out of bounds because now you're invading my space and you're putting me in an uncomfortable position that I don't want to be in with you.
Yeah.
Like I understand that
The
this is a
truth
part of the
is,
game, but no, we could have did this
it
differently.
was not part of the game. I mean, in the game, okay. the truth or game or their game. Let's go through everything because it was
Yes.
not part of the game. Um, it started off with what's her name? Patrice. She was asked truth or dare. She said truth, and she was asked who was the sexiest guy, and she said Charles, which is the truth. Charles is the only guy that is really like sexy. He knows how to carry himself. Then Koshia was asked, and she said, if Laron is her top connection. She said yes. Laron says he doesn't believe because her actions and words are not matching. Now, Mia was asked, she said sexy, and she was asked to twerk for her list, the guy with the least connection, and she twerked for Justin. I was like, is that all you're going to do? Then Will was asked to lick the feet of his strongest connection. He licked Alexis' feet, and that was actually nice. He licked the one with the bandage. It takes like most people would not want to put their mouth close to it. Now for Jonathan was asked to pick his strongest connection and whisper sweet nothing. So all he needed to do was to go to Alexis or whoever his strongest connection was and whisper sweet nothing to her. The fact that you picked that up, this girl was so very uncomfortable. They had to legit pull her off of you. She was uncomfortable. People watching were uncomfortable. He just needed to go and whisper. Like all what he did was like, okay, you were mad that Will did not do too much in the licking of feet, but Will understood that Alexis was uncomfortable and he did something that did not make her uncomfortable in the presence of everybody. That's you don't have it. You're picking me, you're forcing me to be squished with you. And I was like, what the hell is this? Nah.
Yeah, that was
He's
the
a
messed up
brief.
part. It's like you're invading my space. You're putting me in an uncomfortable situation. Like for her, I feel like that's what really like made it even worse. It's like
Yeah.
nobody asked you to do all this. All you could have went up behind her and whispered something in her ear. Like you didn't have to. It was just too much.
I
It was
think
just too much.
that that action right there went parallel. That action right there went parallel to the conversation that they had earlier that day when she was like, "You so reserved," and he like, "Nah, I'm a wild boy." You know what I mean? I felt like he had to show her like it's another side to me as well. You know
You
what I'm
know, that's a
saying?
good point. That's a very good point because
Yeah.
honestly, to tell you the truth, the energy just kind of seemed to come out the way. And for those of you who may or may not know, it was called Truth or Sexy. So yeah, tell the truth or do something sexy. But in the same token, like for Jonathan to do that, like the thing was, we whisper sweet nothings in your ear. You could have just said, "Hey, I think you're sexy." Something it would have been a throwaway, but it's still early in the game. It's just the way you carry yourself determines who loves you at the end. So I thought it was a little over top. And then nephew Tommy comes right after.
Alexis was so glad.
That makes me wonder where nephew Tommy was, because for those of you who may not know the behind the scenes, there's this thing called Video Village, where there are producers there, they got the cameras there, they're recording. So, and I know about this because of Chris Harrison when he hosted The Bachelor, they would have Video Village, and he would be there watching the footage. So, because I'm like, yeah, Tommy came immediately in.
Aubrey, you're saying he said in the confessionals that he was tipsy. Please, the confessionals happened after the whole ordeal. So obviously we say he was tipsy because he looked dumb as hell doing that. I too, I would say I was tipsy. I mean, I would have to lie because for someone who talks about having game, having all this, being a sexual, blah, 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 like I was disappointed. So he definitely lied about being drunk because I did not see him act, speak as if he was not of his sound mind. He did that. And he expected that she would be all over him, like, wow, oh my God, this guy picked me up in public. This guy really like kissed me. I'm so impressed. He didn't get the reaction he wanted, so he had to lie. Like that's what everybody does that. Like you'll be embarrassed and you'll be like, oh my God, let me just look for one convenient thing to say. Like we're not stupid. The confessionals do not happen same time.
Yeah. But my thing that blew me with Jonathan was when he had that conversation with Alexa, he opened up to her and he's like, you know what, I like you. You know what I'm saying? I want to spend more time with you. And you know what I mean, different things. And it didn't seem like it wasn't reciprocated at all. You know what I mean? The way, you know, hopefully whenever you express yourself, the other person is like, you know what, I like you as well. And let's see where this goes. It wasn't none of that with her. You know what I'm saying? He was like, okay, you know, she's just like, okay, da, 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 whatever else the conversation was. She hasn't really even expressed that with no guy there. Not even Will. You know, Will is her. Will say Alexa is his stronger connection as well. You know what I'm saying? So I really felt like, you know, Jonathan really don't, you know, I guess he don't know how to read the room at all, or even in that conversation, or just because, you know, I guess he expected her to say, I guess, you know, he wanted her to say, I like you too, but that didn't happen. So, I mean, it was kind of disturbing to see that part there. And for you to go as far as dry humping this girl on the show, you know, that was a little offsetting me.
Honestly. So let's move on. At the end of the day, they had to choose two bottom ladies, and the two bottom were Koshia and what's her name? Mika.
Mika, yes.
Last sorry, Will starts telling them the reason why they were at the bottom. And these ladies were not even listening, neither were they bothered about anything. They were just like, can this dude just shut the F up and let's move on? If only Will knows what these women are thinking about him, he would have wished and hoped he never took the stand to say or even list it out. Because now he has his own Will. It's only God that can save Will at this point. Like watching the show, he may not know what he has done, but the ladies really do not like him. I'm shocked. Like, I'm not shocked that they don't like him. I'm just shocked at the amount of hatred they have from him. I don't know what he's doing behind the scenes, but the ladies have got the ick and it's strong.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, honestly, I think from Koshia and Will's first interaction of, so was the D that good? Much love to you, little brothers, always. From the D being that good to, this situation with, Alexis, it seems like it's just piling on one thing after another. And then with, what was the other young lady's name that was in the bottom two? Not Koshia, but the other one?
Mika.
Mika, thank you. And with Mika, there wasn't really any connection there, so it just seems like it's just one thing after another. And then people who never been on TV don't understand TV. But when the show is called Ready to Love, that's nephew Tommy's job, bro. Like, well, with you have many positive things about you. You made it on TV. You should be proud of yourself. But there are some negative things about you. Same thing with you. I know our conversation was very difficult for you to open up because you closed yourself off to love. But there are negative things about you. But there does have to be somebody eliminated. It's like, mother Ucka, this is called Ray. Somebody's going, would you please get to the point?
I mean, we really can't say that because if we look at last season, when Jessica was the one who eliminated, two of the guys. So, I mean, that's a part of the show. I didn't like the fact that when it came to Will, it just seemed like there was like any and everything he said was unbelievable. He's just like such this liar, a bad person. But we've seen ourselves where, yeah. But when it came to just like for Mika was like, "Oh no, the guys didn't say that. That you said that," and it's like, no, the guys did say that. A lot of the guys said that you gave them homie vibes. You were a friend. And I wonder if her watching back or even, watching this episode, she seemed like, oh, damn, they did say that. It wasn't just Will, just trying to be an asshole or just be, you know what I'm saying, Will lying and whatever the case is. No, that's what the men felt. They felt like you were more of a homie than what you are, a person that they are looking for to be a partner. Same with
I think
Koshia.
maybe because she's pretty. Maybe because she's pretty, she felt like the men would like her.
And, and it's possible, and we talked about that. Your physical, you have to have more than just the physical. You can look
Correct.
beautiful and have the body and have the face and have all of that, but guess what? If your personality sucks, you're not going to keep nobody. Because don't nobody want nothing bland besides a person who else is bland. So you just got to find your person. But it's still, sorry, my dog's going crazy. But I still don't like the fact, like I said, how they just disregarded Will completely just because they don't like him. When the stuff that he was saying was stuff that was discussed in the men's lounge, it wasn't just his opinion, it was an opinion as a collective. But I mean, y'all know how the show goes. And Tommy was right there, so he probably coached him through it a little bit behind the scenes right before it happened to let him know what it was. But I do feel like they
Seriously,
should have
the
been more
utterances
accepting.
of Koshia were just like so unnecessary. You have problems, but then you're calling him a clown, saying, "Oh, don't play the audio," because I feel like I'm so shocked about what. Let me play the audio. Now, uh, just let me try. Where is it? Where is it? Okay, let me. He just had to go to his outfit at that point. What did Will do to these women? I really would like to know, like for real, because this is just next level hatred.
Right. Like, I feel like Coach Shea didn't like him from the beginning because she said he was too pushy. We've seen how he kind of like forced his way to get her number or put his number in her phone. So I feel like she was already like didn't like that. But if we remember, Alexa said that she has a problem with every man there. Like every man has a problem with her, and she has a problem with every man there, and it's kind of showing. And it is showing why she's single. Like we're definitely seeing that.
Bray, what do you think? Brady? Oh, I don't think it's there. But it's just like really, because if you guys, I don't think I've ever watched such a disrespectful. Yes, he's wearing a fake chain. Yes, his outfit is fake. Yes, he's broke. Yes, he's this. Yes, he's that. But I don't understand why you needed to say all that. Like, You didn't need to downplay him when other people were saying what was said in the lounge. Nobody downplayed them. But every time someone wants to say something to Koshia, she downplays the people, or she brings up another like thing entirely to divert the entire conversation. It's like, what exactly is the issue? What exactly is the issue? We're really seeing why these two women are single. One doesn't want to accept that she is giving homey vibes as much as she's so pretty. The other does not know how to control her mouth because she feels like, oh, I think she's even worse than Janelle. And you can't tell me editing in this place. No.
Yeah, no, she's definitely worse. And like I told you, she reminds me of, and I keep on messing up her name. I think her name was Tanquilla. That's who she reminds me of.
Taquilla.
Taquilla. Listen, that's who she reminds me of. Because remember how rowdy she got when it came to Habibi? She was just like, her attitude was all over the place. You could tell she wasn't like mentally there. Like, I don't know. You could, no, I don't feel like she's stable enough right now to be on this journey.
She's not. For me, like when I read the comments, I really agree with people. They both are not ready to love. They both should have been eliminated like ASAP. But we'll see what will happen. I think we've covered the majority of the episode. All I will say is Laron, Koshia, toxic, toxic, toxic. I don't know where casting got it wrong because the show was going in the right direction, but the cast, I just don't understand anymore. I just don't understand. So we'll see you guys next time. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to comment. And that will be the end. Bye bye.
Bye.